like, okay, it's tasteful. Like, it's not offensive. It's not like your typical. I think a lot the tattoos have changed. The things people get tattooed. People who get tattoos have changed too. Because I think a lot of people are absolutely shocked to know that I have a sleeve. Like
Really?
they wouldn't expect somebody like me to have a sleeve, I guess. So yeah, but I think a lot of the tattoos you see more women with tattoos now, and so yeah, I think it's just it's more acceptable now. I think in the workplace, I'm seeing more articles come out on LinkedIn about.
It's just a ridiculous policy to even have anymore. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I get it. Like if you've got like this tattoo like on your face, maybe
yeah, like
that can be a little distracting.
But how often is that happening? Where it's just
doesn't.
like I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying those people would not be a good worker, but it's just I don't think they were like, hey, would it be okay if I worked the front desk? Like, is that what you want to do? Because yeah,
and it just shocks me that laws have to be passed just so that people aren't discriminated against because of their hair. Like, are you kidding me?
That's one of the dumbest things.
Just so you don't discriminate me because of the way I wear my hair. Yeah. And to have to think about that
and the organic nature of my hair.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I shouldn't say that it does, but yeah, and I never thought about it either, but that, a black person may have to think about the way they style their hair and how that could impact their employability. I'm like, I'm going to say this, but I don't feel like any white person had to ever think about that.
No, they didn't. And I could tell you, when I saw the stuff on social media that was picking up like the hair, I didn't know for sure. I was like, what is this? I work in diversity and inclusion, and I think like HR, we don't know everything. And the one that says they do, have a talk with them. But I didn't know. I was like, well, what is this that they're bringing up? There's some anger here. I want to kind of research what it was. But yeah, the law and the policies and things of the appropriateness of what hair should look like and everything. Right. And then I thought, I was working when I was working with a client, there was an individual, great, qualified, ready to go, and worked in healthcare, was a nurse, ready to go. Got some feedback from the client, being able to sit down with them. Was like, what's the deal? And they're like, oh, there was just something. I go, what was it? Well, I don't know if this is the right term, but I thought their hair, there was nappy hair. And I just go, oh my God. I go, please don't say that. And I go, that's why you're not hiring? No, there's just something. And I go, I really need you to give me some detail. But they could not answer why. Yeah. So I took that a little further back. And when I was reading this article about the rules and regulations of black girl hair, and I thought, how many times have I seen or heard a young black lady that has come into my office say, I'm sorry about my hair. And it would be like a fro. Mm-hmm. And I go, what's wrong with your hair? Oh, I don't have it down. I go, it's great. I didn't realize until that moment. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. And then I read that article. I was like, and that was a moment for me of understanding and having a little more empathy of understanding that level of marginalization. Right. And I was like, you have to worry about your hair like that. It's like my hair just grows out like this. Like, it just does this. It does.
Because it has everything to do with how I do my job.
But I have to pay $200 to get it straightened and all these things to make it look more appropriate for the workplace.
Yeah, I mean, if you could see, if you've seen movies like Good Hair with Chris Rock. And you talk to some women who were trying to make their way up the ladder in the 80s and the 90s. I mean, you see that the chemicals that they put in their hair to straighten their hair to look more flowy and straight, like white women's hair. I mean, what they went through. And I mean, that stuff is extremely dangerous. Like if you watch good hair, like it's incredibly amazing that stuff is allowed to be sold to people to put near their face. And
yeah, it takes like I mean the pictures, it's taking layers of skin off people, bald, and I'm like, oh my God.
So yeah, it's,
and just for the sake, they didn't think they looked good enough for an interview or a job. They didn't think they looked good enough.
Yeah. So I've heard from some women here in Kansas City who've talked about what they did to, you know, quote unquote, fit in more and appease to white culture and be more white presenting in order to get, you know, positions and to move up in the organization. And they'll say like, yeah, you know, I code switched, sold out, maybe just so that I could progress. And you don't think about what that does to a person mentally, you know, internally and physically, what the additional steps that they have to go through to just get to like management or director level. And white people don't have to, you know, even second guess those things. They can really focus on their talent and but it's like for Black and brown people, they have to think about that and be perfect on top of how do I look, how do I present.
They have to try and destigmatize while interviewing all at the same time. That's tough.
So so that's what we're, you know, hoping to empower students. And I don't want to say empower them like we're giving them the power, but help them realize like you are an asset. You have capital that you bring to the table. Don't think that you don't bring something because of where you're from or, you know, what you look like. That's a strength. That's an asset. That's something that you should put forward and use that to your advantage.